So a man has to do his manly duty, and they're not going to squawk and there's not going to be any kind of nonsense about I don't want to do my manly duty. If I have to go to the war and fight for my country, right, and get drafted into the war, or let's say for example I'm on a ship and the ship's going down and there's not enough lifeboats. What am I going to say? Hey, I'd like to get on the lifeboats. I'm a man. No, I'm going to say women and children first, right? Women and children. That's the duty of a gentleman, right? You're not going to have any kind of squawking about getting drafted in the war. But as soon as a woman, she's actively consenting to getting pregnant, and then all of a sudden she says, "Oh, I don't want to be temporarily inconvenienced by having this baby or whatever." What are you gonna have? You're gonna have these posts like this. Like this is absolutely horrific. And if you can't read, it says aborted, go to hell, love brat. This baby was killed in February 2023, and these women are actually bragging about it, right? They're literally bragging about it. So recent abortion, 22 weeks along, February 2023, demise, dilation and evacuation was a baby girl before the tongs got to her face. Imagine killing a baby, bragging about it, and that your government, you know, this kind of abortion should have been like a terrible thing. There should have been a reason, but there's no reason, right? There is no medical necessity. They're just terminating pregnancies, like killing babies for absolutely no reason at all, right? And there's a deep. Let's read a little bit. There's a deep inconsistency and injustice in how society treats men and women with respect to responsibility, duty, and the value of human life. On one hand, women are given broad autonomy over reproduction, including the ability to use birth control methods that may allow fertilization but prevent implantation, and the legal right in many places to terminate pregnancy for virtually any reason, right? It's so awful, right? My baby girl is the most precious thing ever, and she's my wife's belly right now, and I just love her so much. I can't imagine, some evil people killing their own children, ripping them limb to limb, like literally ripping their bodies apart. I mean, it's ghastly. It's truly ghastly. And this is framed as personal freedom and bodily autonomy. She did what was right for her. And then actually congratulating and supporting each other to doing this ghastly. Well, it's not like a new thing, right? This is the oldest crime in the book, right? It's, killing some innocent person that did not deserve to die. Um, so this is framed as personal freedom and bodily autonomy, even when it may involve the destruction of a developing human life. At the same time, the biological reality that life begins at fertilization is downplayed or redefined, such as by claiming pregnancy begins at implantation. Nonsense, allowing society to avoid confronting the moral implications of these practices. Okay, so we have on one hand these women are they don't need to perform their womanly duty, right? They don't need to do that, right? That's what our not the society where I'm living at, but a society that right in Canada where I'm from, they said, oh no, you don't need to perform your womanly duty onto our society, onto our civilization. No, you don't need to do that. That's totally fine. You're totally you're fine. But a man, oh no, he certainly must do his gentlemanly duty to do what? To give his place on the lifeboat, to go to the front line and to fight, to protect, to physical, violence, to hold the door open, to provide financially. Don't get me started on child support and family court and all this stuff, right? No. And on the other hand, men are historically and socially expected to accept severe obligations, and these are not mandatory. This is not uh, uh, optional. These are obligations, right? Including being drafted into war, right? And drafted into war, risking injury or death for their country. What has the country become, right? That's the point. And sacrificing themselves in emergencies. Cultural norms like women and children first. Let's say, for example, are you gonna, you know, jump onto the lifeboat? Are you going to put you got this woman and child? Let's say, for example, this small boy and a small girl, and the mother. Are you going to jump on the lifeboat first? No, you're going to help them get onto the lifeboat, and then you're going to help another child and another woman get onto the lifeboat, and then you're going to die, and then they're going to survive. That's literally what a gentleman does, right? That's the point of being a gentleman, right? That's the point of our, you know, duties that's what we do, and in turn, the women should be, not doing this kind of evil thing, right? Um, Cultural norms like women and children first reinforce the expectation that men should prioritize the survival of women, even at the cost of their own lives. These expectations are not framed as choices, but as duties, right? We're not gonna, I'm not gonna jump on the lifeboat if my kids and my wife are there, crying on the ship. The ship's going down. I'm not gonna jump on the lifeboat. I mean, that's not gonna happen. And if I get drafted into the war, am I going to, get charged with cowardice and court-martialed and then shot? No, of course I'm going to, fight with valor and bravery, because that's what a gentleman does, right? That's the point of being a man. So, but this creates a double standard. Women are granted autonomy in matters involving life and death decisions regarding their children, while men are expected to bear compulsory duties that may cost them their lives for the protection of others. The result is a system where responsibility is asymmetrical. Men are obligated to sacrifice, while women are permitted to avoid sacrifice or even temporary inconvenience, even when another human life is at stake. From this perspective, the system appears fundamentally unjust, inconsistent, and morally disordered. Right. So, what do we have here? We got these evil women, evil women killing their own children. Right. And it's been happening for a long time. And it's not even like they're trying to hide it anymore. They're absolutely wretched, absolutely wretched. So they don't want to do their duty, right? They don't want to do their womanly duty, which is, they must. They're not doing it, but men, must do their manly duty, and we must, and we do. So it's, this came to me, today I was thinking about that. I mean, why are these women, and the whole point of this channel, right? They go into these birth control and all that stuff and abortions, and they don't do their womanly duty, right? My wife certainly does her womanly duty. I'll give you an example of a woman who does. My wife does her womanly duty. I'll give you another example of my wonderful grandmother, my grandmother who passed away, but also my other grandmother who's still alive right now. Wonderful, wonderful grandmother, like really, really great. So, and let's continue on, into the past. My great grandmother, and she was married to my grandfather who died in the war. So my grandfather died in the war. What did he do? He did his gentlemanly duty, and he fought, and he got drafted, and he fought, and he died in 1943, right? And then my grandmother, she did her womanly duty, and she bore children. That's her womanly duty. But now, what do we have in 2026? These women, the men still do their manly duties, but the women don't do their womanly duties. And then they're like, we're just we don't need to do our womanly duties anymore. That's misogynistic or whatever. Yeah. So anyway, that's what's going on. I think I explained it a little bit better this time. I made a video just a few minutes ago, but I think this one is a little bit better. So I think the point here is that this is wrong. This is not this is a woman foregoing her womanly duty, and this is just evil. I mean, I'm not saying all women are this extreme, but it certainly illustrates the point I'm trying to say here. The man is going to do his manly duty no matter what. I mean, imagine I'm going to say, "Oh no, I'm not going to do my manly duty. I'm just going to jump onto the lifeboat and let my kids and wife on the ship over there. The ship is going down, Captain." Yeah, so who's going to go down with the ship? The captain is going to not jump. No, the captain. Hey, captain, come here. I got a spot on the lifeboat for you. Hey, captain, come here. I got a spot on the lifeboat for you. Here. Push those women and children aside. Yeah, they don't need to be on the lifeboat. No, captain, come here. You see what I'm trying to say? It's just an illustration, but it is true. A gentleman will always do his duty, but the woman, all of a sudden, here in 2020, well, when we're in year 2026, seems like they're doing this kind of thing for any reason or no reason at all. I do appreciate your time. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.